Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet, and we are going to be heading into the second semi-final series of DreamHack Valencia. And man, this is going to be freaking epic. Up the top left side of the map, it is one of my favorite players of all time, StarDust. Back ever since I cast the DreamHack Open Summer, I was just like, StarDust is awesome. And he is back, is in the semi-finals, going for the grand final, hoping to face off against Hyun, who already beat Ghostswear in the previous semi-final to head on to the grand final. But first of all, he has to face off against our blue Zerg player Jaedong, and Jaedong is, just completely awesome as well, man. And if you watch the DreamHack Summer, you will know that these guys already faced off in the grand final there. They actually had a best of 5 series, and so freaking awesome, that series of games. So we're going to have a repeat here, best of 3, and we're going to see if StarDust can do it again to move on to the grand finals, or whether Jaedong is going to take it to the grand finals to have another epic ZVZ series. Now, StarDust so far has been doing a lot of PvP. No doubt in the round of 64 and 32 he faced off against some Zerg players, but round of 16 in the quarterfinals, it was PvP all the way. And yeah, so he's, I don't know about how good his ZVP is, but I'm guessing it's pretty good, man. I'm guessing it's pretty good. And yeah, Jaedong on the other hand, just defeated JYP. Actually, I've been calling him Jip the entire time, Jip, but his name is officially JYP, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, he just faced off against a Protoss player probably a few hours ago, so he knows exactly what he's doing. This probe man is getting owned quite a bit, and finally going to be letting that hatchery down, so not too good to be that probe, but he is getting some nice scouting information off. Meanwhile, StarDust going for an extremely fast Nexus here, putting that down before the 3-minute mark of a Forge fast expand. He's actually got the Nexus down before the Forge, I think. So yeah, very fast expansion here, and I'm sure this probe is quite happy to let that expansion go down. He'd like to block it as much as he can, but in the end, I mean, maybe it's better off to let it go down, because if you block it for long enough, then the Zerg just has too many minerals, and he has to do something with those minerals, and that would be sending a crap load of Lings over. And sending Lings over at this point, not good for StarDust at all, but he's going to be able to hold this off. So this cannon and maybe another building here or something like that with a couple of Zealots should be able to hold this off, no problems. He's going to have to worry about roaches and stuff like that, but Jaedong choosing to get a third base straight off as soon as he scouted this. So yeah, it's not going to be a problem there. This probe actually move it around, hoping to maybe block this hatchery, but it's too late. It's already down, so the probe's got no work to do here. He's seen the third base, but that's no less than he was expecting. So right now, StarDust just going to be shooting out a ton of probes, and now he's going to start getting his military production capabilities up and going, because yeah, you know that Jaedong is going to be starting to get a lot of units down in about the 6-7 minute mark after he's got enough workers to make himself happy. So yes, here we go, Cyber Core coming down, and ooh, yes, that's going to be pretty awesome. Not too many gateways coming down, but we can expect them fairly soon. Actually getting level 1 weapons out, it's nice and early, so that should be pretty awesome. And yeah, next few minutes it's just going to be workers, and around the 8-minute mark, I think we'll probably start seeing some actual military action going on. But yeah, next few minutes is probably just going to be economy for both players, and we will have to see how that goes. Indeed. So yeah, ton of drones coming out, but StarDust is keeping up on the pro production. There's no way he can catch up to Jaedong if Jaedong decides to go just all out workers off 3 hatcheries, but he's doing pretty well, man. He's doing quite well at keeping up with it. 33 workers at the 6-minute mark is not bad at all. The only way he could do any better than this is to get a third Nexus, and that is just completely insane. I mean, you would never do that. And here, look at this, man. I don't think he's built any additional gateways. Maybe he's going to build some up there, but he is getting a very fast robo facility. So thinking about Immortals, thinking about countering roaches, it's got to be. Or maybe he's just setting himself up for fast Colossus. And that is going to be a half decent idea. but I don't know, did he actually see all of these lings, man? There's like 10 lings out there, and that is something that he's not going to be super worried about, but the fact that there are that many lings out there may tell him that that Jaedong is deciding to go into more ling tech. And if he thought that, though, he would be wrong, because a Roach Warren is coming out straight away, as well as a Lair. And meanwhile, StarDust just what did he build out of here, man? Probably an observer of some kind, maybe. I don't know, maybe he cancelled something, I'm not sure, but he's got a Twilight cancel out. He really doesn't have a lot of gateways going on, though. He needs some more gateways. What are these buildings? I'm not sure. That's like Twilight cancel and a Forge or something like that. So he's got a nice block off here, but he really does want to start getting the gateways up. Here we go, 3 more gateways. Now that's a good start. It looks like Jaedong's mainly worried about a 3rd base coming down from StarDust, and I don't know, man. StarDust would have to be pretty crazy to try and get a 3rd base at the 8-minute mark versus a Zerg player, man. It's really insane. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to get himself a nice solid army first, and then he's going to be thinking about getting a 3rd base. But yeah, not until he gets his army out is he going to think about that. And meanwhile, he's got level 1 weapons. He's got 2 weapons and 1 armor on the way. Really great job. Jaedong doing a lot of nice things, but one of the things he's not doing is getting any upgrades for his forces. He's getting ling speed, he's getting roach speed, he's getting a fair amount of forces. You can see he's actually about double in terms of the army, man. He's got 11 roaches and a ton of lings. And yeah, StarDust not really got too much. Of course, he's not too far behind either. He can warp in a bunch of units here. I think he's he's getting the higher tech, though. I mean, Immortals are worth quite a lot as long as he's got enough forces to deal with the lings and with a bunch of zealots and sentries. I think he should be fine, relatively fine. If the lings manage to take out the Immortal, he's going to be in a bit of trouble, but he is actually in a bit of trouble right now. I feel like he doesn't have quite enough forces. This Immortal way out of position. It's going to get taken out. The zealots coming out now, but the roach is coming in, and this Immortal trying to shield off the guys, but he's not going to survive very long. He's just got enough health, but the roach is taking him out. And with both Immortals going down, these roaches are going to be very scary so far. He's going to try and warp out the units with the Zerg having no way to attack air. They are going to get out of there very nicely, but Jaedong going into a 4th base off that. He's going into a Spire. He is looking extremely strong in this game, and StarDust, man, just not having the army he needs, not having the forces he needs to hold off that attack, and losing that battle really has put him back in a whole number of ways. His chances of getting a 3rd base out are pretty non-existent. His chances of knocking down this 4th is pretty non-existent, and the macro for Jaedong is just going to go more and more. Massive amount of lings, man. He just doesn't have the zealot number. He's relying on force fields, but you need a lot more zealots to deal with this. He's starting to get zealots out, starting to have enough to push this army back, and he's done a good job here using a massive amount of force field energy, though, and he can't keep that many force fields up continuously. So yeah, very interesting, but the question is, can he make something happen here? If he can push down, take out the 4th base, then this would be very awesome. He's not quite going for it, though. It looks like he's maybe going for a 3rd or something like that, going for Jaedong's 3rd, so I don't know if he knows about the 4th. But with the mutas coming out from Jaedong, and with StarDust having relatively little zealot numbers, he's been mainly focusing on Zealot Immortal, which is great for dealing with roaches and great with dealing with lings, but absolutely shocking for dealing with mutas. He's going to have to start getting a lot of stalkers out fairly soon. The sentries are good, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And yeah, meanwhile, he still hasn't got a 3rd. Jaedong has got his 4th up. He's got both gas mining for the 4th base. Apologies, that's the stupid game HUD interface. Keeps making those buildings disappear. But yeah, StarDust doing a very nice push forward, and he can get a lot of stalkers out very quickly if he needs to. But right now, what he needs to do, I think, is start thinking about a 3rd base. He's seen the Mutalisks come out, wiping out all the pylons. Now he cannot reinforce with stalkers once the pylons are out there. This force is all by themselves, and by the time he gets a decent amount of stalkers out there, most of these guys probably will be dead. He does have a fairly decent amount of stalkers. He's got a pylon up here that he is defending, and he's constantly warping in stalkers now. He knows the threat that the Mutalisks are giving him. But here we go, the Mutas sniping the pylon. And he's building a couple more in here, but this is going to be hard to defend with the forces the way they are. And the Stalker's trying to hunt out the mutas. Beautiful force fields to keep those zealots out. So keep the lings out, sorry. And he's trying to kill the mutas. He's doing some good damage to them. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't think so. He needs to keep warping in units, and he's keeping on warping in the Stalkers. But the mutas are hitting them as they come in to knock them down. Stalker's doing a great job, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And meanwhile, the rest of these forces are just moving on in. Although Stalker's continually reinforcing, and they're finally going to chase the mutas away. Very, very close there. And the Immortals actually going over here. They're just going to wipe out this base. This base is just... the mutas are just... The Immortals are just going to wipe that out really, really fast. The mutas trying here, but so many Stalkers getting reinforced in. And the Zealot's doing a great job too. As long as he keeps up with the Stalker numbers and keeps the bloody lings off his Stalkers, I think he will have enough workers coming out to try and hold these guys up. And you know it's a bad sign when you have to get out workers to face off against the Stalkers. The muta forces have all been taken out. Jaedong doesn't have enough gas to keep them going out. The Immortals taken out. That hatchery, the lings coming out a little bit too late to save it. And the Stalkers, meanwhile, are just focusing on workers right now. And the more mutas coming out, trying to wipe them out. Jaedong might be able to hold off here with the help of workers. But look at his worker numbers, man. So low. And meanwhile, the Zealots have been going nuts on the bases, taking out workers left, right, and center. Jaedong is crippled. Really, really crippled here. From just some excellent attacks from Jaedong, man. And from StarDust, sorry. And this is off 2 bases, so I cannot overemphasize how awesome StarDust has been doing in this game so far. I mean, Jaedong has been doing stuff all over the place, but look at this. I guess he's going to send the Immortals over there. Where are his Immortals? I think they all get taken out by lings, but that's fine. He's going to keep over. He's going to try and take this base out. He's already taken the 3rd base out. He managed to take the hatchery out here as well, the hive. Is it actually taken out, or is it just disappeared? I think it's got taken out. And there we go. Jaedong just given the GG there, man. He tried. He really did try, but StarDust just so strong there. And it was very, very much touch and go there, with the pylons getting taken out as fast as they were being put up. Finally managed to get these pylons. I thought maybe Jaedong could have sniped these from the top here, where it's hard for Stalkers to hit them. But not quite, not quite. I think he must have taken out the probe at some point, but yeah, just couldn't get it done. Couldn't take those pylons down, and the Stalker reinforcements just enough to hold off the muta pack, man. Just enough. It was extremely close, but he just couldn't quite get the amount of Stalkers down that he needed to. And the lings got taken out by Zealots. The Immortals taken out the 3rd base. Is just all over the place, and Jaedong tried, but in the end he couldn't make it work. And congratulations to StarDust for taking out game number 1, and Jaedong is really going to have to pull something out in game number 2, man. He's really going to have to think of something, because he was all over the place, man. It was Ling, Stalker, and he looked like he had an advantage at the start. StarDust was caught a little bit off guard, lost his 1st army, and yeah, he got a 2nd army up and managed to pull back in there. And then when Jaedong switched over to mutas, got a ton of them out, I thought he was going to have a massive advantage. But with the Stalkers coming in, just managing to get out the Stalker numbers he needed, StarDust managed to pull out the win. So really awesome play there. And we are going to have to see if StarDust can finish this off nice and early in game 2, or whether Jaedong will be able to push back. We know he can beat StarDust, so let's see how he goes. This has been Hairy Muppet, and I'll catch you guys in game number 2.